Well, hello everyone, my name is Prime and welcome back to another episode of ATS Showcases, and today I am here for the first time on ATS Update 1.45 Open Beta. I cannot believe that I'm already saying that. If you couldn't tell already, I'm going to be using the brand new Cistern trailer, or one of them at least, and this is the fuel tanker version. It is a B-double configuration and it looks really nice. I have a little bit of a paint skin on the chrome, but overall these trailers have so many options and it looks really good. As for the different options you have with these brand new cistern type trailers, we're going to start with the fuel version here. Now we have multiple different options for just the configuration itself. We have the single, double, B-double, which I'm using today in the video, Rocky Mountain double, Turnpike double, and the triple option as well. Now we're going to just roll with the B-double because that's the one I configured today. But when we come to the body type, obviously it will just show fuel tank because that's all we have, at least right now. SES Software has said that they will be bringing more in, which is always nice to see. Same though with the chassis for the B-double, it's only one chassis option. Well, when it comes to paints, you can choose this basically graphite gray is just the standard kind of chrome based color scheme that you have, but then your other layers can get added on top of it. So for example, the ambient or whatever that's called, or for example the Aurora, one that I can actually say, you can choose the different options that will go on it, but the chrome base stays for a lot of them. So it's really quite nice because it gives you the option to just do some different colors. So I think for today, yes, the Union, and I put black and white on the side, and it actually turned out really good. Now when it comes to some of your accessories, you have some, at least right now, you can put ladders on the front of our trailers here. We can also add some different lights on the back of the trailer itself, and of course these standard various mud flaps and tire options that you have, changing the rear of the truck to exclusive and all the higher end options if you so choose to. Moving to the dry bulk trailer, which is the second new trailer coming, or the second new cistern trailer. I'll toggle between both ways of saying it. We have the single, we have the double, the B-double, Rocky Mountain double, and Turnpike double. We obviously only have one body type once again, and same with the chassis. Once again, we kind of have the same options for the paint jobs and stuff like that. It works the exact same as the tanker option. And in general, the various other options for plates and making things aluminum versus just the standard options, and your lights and your flaps and tires, that's all the kind of stuff that we've seen on almost all trailers. So today we're sitting here in Gillette, and we're going to be heading down to Cheyenne, hauling some aromatics in my beautiful B-double tanker. And so without further ado, I should just get on the road here because I've been yabbering way too long time trying to get that intro done. Hopefully everyone is doing well. I certainly am. I'm going to be honest, I was not expecting 1.45 open beta for ATS to release this early. Now, I was kind of a bit of a shock when I saw that Prime News. I'm not going to lie about that. That was not something that I thought would ever be coming this quickly, but I am not upset whatsoever. I am very happy to say that this is going to be a really fun time going through the beta, trying out some of the different things. Now, you may be wondering why I didn't hit up Cody. So for those who don't know, Cody is the brand new city, or town, I guess I should say, that's sat along US Route 14 in Wyoming, and I'll just show you that right now. So just over here, you have Cody. I may or may not have gone to it trying to figure out a delivery option, and also the US Route 14 edition in through here. So I was trying to, with this trailer, because I had already spent the time trying to configure this B-double tanker, and I really wanted to use it. And I was going around hoping that I could get a delivery from, for example, here in Gillette, go through Cody and end down on the western edge of Wyoming. Well, as you can tell, things have kind of changed here, and we are not going to Cody because, simply put, there's obviously not a chemical plant or anything that does, ooh, that was really quite close, anything that does more of the flammable liquids that would be going into these fuel tankers. So aromatics fuels, as in diesel, gasoline, all the corrosive stuff can all be done in these ownable tanker trailers, which are really neat. So my plan is, next episode, I'll be using the dry bulk trailer, of course, because we're going to kind of go back and forth for a bit here with some of the different options. hopefully the dry bulk trailer has some options for deliveries coming out of Cody, or at least going through it. So we're going to hope for the best on that one, and I'm sure it will, because dry bulk products are, I think, a little bit more common for basically any warehouse or pickup point in ATS compared to the liquids. They generally come from more of a shipping yard or exchange, kind of more terminal, which I'll get onto in a second with some of the news we've had from coming out of the Texas DLC. And it's stuff like that. So unfortunately I couldn't go through Cody for the first look video as much as I would have wanted to, but I think this will do because it's quite a nice dirt journey, actually, fairly long, and we've got a lot to talk about. So some of you may have already noticed if you watched the Prime News, and when I was talking about what's coming in 1.45 open beta, or should I say what did come in 1.45 open beta, you'll notice that there are no yellow markers flashing all above the rows. I have turned off that option to, or I guess they say uncheck the check mark to show the barriers. Those yellow things have been bugging me for years, those X's on where the roads where you can't go, and you still can't go there. You'll still hit the invisible barrier, but they are now a legitimate invisible barrier, not flashing yellow X's telling you where you obviously can't go. Now, a good point was brought up actually by a few of you on my Prime News video, and some other people, some other conversations around about the hidden roads and being able to tell the difference between a hidden road and just one that you can't go on if you disable the X's. And there are multiple solutions around that. First of all, with the new update on how the hidden roads are done, generally speaking, it will kind of give you a discovered a hidden road when you're really, really close to it. Second of all, if you want to be trying to find these hidden roads and explore the map for that sake, just turn back on the X's. As much as you may not like to see them, we've been used to them for so long now, you just turn it back on, and if there's a road that doesn't have one, give it a try. And if once you discover it, it now actually shows up on your GPS or map, which is really quite handy for that sake. And yeah, you can just go from there. So there's ways to get around it, and I'm sure you guys can figure it out. You guys are all quite smart. Now, what else is coming in with 1.45 open beta, at least of right now? Well, we've got, of course, the two new cistern trailers, one that I'm using today. We've got the Cody and US Route 14, as I just briefly mentioned. We've also got the X's removal, I guess I'll call it, the hidden barriers. You can actually make them properly hidden. We've got some other options when it comes to rain-sensible wipers. I did not actually activate that today, and unless if it's already activated. I mean, it's not raining, so we can't really find that one out, unfortunately. But I didn't activate it, so I believe it is not activated. I think it's one of those things that you have to activate. I'm not quite sure, but that's also an option. And then there's a couple things, or there's one thing mainly for optional mods, things when it comes to the convoy. Now, something else, though, that a few of you rightfully pointed out, and something I am very happy to see when I was actually looking around in the map, and something I'm still very happy to see, is that if we go up here to where Montana is, and if I don't zoom in because my mouse is acting up on me today, it is now the same color as the rest of the U.S. states, and I believe if I go in the cargo market, yeah, you can see that you have Montana actually listed there. So that means, nothing technically has been confirmed, but that would entail that 1.45 is the precursor update to the Montana DLC release, because Texas is still the same old color for all the other non-states yet. So that's, as unfortunate as it is for those who have been really hoping Texas would come, it seems like Montana is the next DLC for American Truck Simulator when it comes to map expansion. Something I am very happy to see for the sake of having a new map expansion. So definitely keep an eye out here around the channel for whether it's first looks on the Montana DLC, hopefully, whenever that ends up rolling out. And then, of course, all the news that I do with Prime News and stuff like that, so you know exactly when the release date of it will be. And it will actually kind of give a little bit of a hint, I guess you could say, into when will 1.45 kind of release as well. We know from what my little precursor I did at the beginning of the video, because of what the blog post said, that 1.45 open beta has been released earlier than normal. So there are known issues with it, but I haven't had any performance or instability issues yet, so I'll take it as I get it. But I am happy to say that it is running quite stable for me, and I think the main issues that revolve around it are just some of the fine edges, maybe in the new area of Cody and US Route 14. Maybe there's some weird map things that are being fixed and stuff like that. But if you see some of the weird bugs, you can go to the SCS software forums, and they've got dedicated sections to the known ones, and I'm sure they have a section for ones that are unknown. But generally speaking, though, I haven't seen anything so far in the little bit that I've been playing. I really just got stuff set up and been sat there at that rail export, I think it was. So that's basically the extent of my gameplay, and this is now this is a legitimate first look at the update. So that's what I've got there for 1.45. Now, actually, just as I was starting to record this, SCS Software put out a blog post on the cistern trailers itself and saying that they're coming to ETS 2 as well. But as far as I know, it's just one option. I think it's one chassis option per either tanker and if there is the dry bulk. I didn't really look at the blog post yet too much. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a prime news on it, just because I've kind of got two videos technically on the cistern trailers, because on the ATS side is the biggest integration. But I'll probably do just a little community post, so probably by the time you're seeing this video, there's been a community post gone up about the cistern trailer, so there's a little sneak peek for or I guess kind of a behind the scenes look at my timing on stuff. I'm hoping this video gets out to you guys as early as it can, because I want you guys to be able to get my thoughts on should you be opting into the beta. Now, as always with betas, I would highly recommend. Are these guys going to let me out? Well, I'm going to have to. Oh, thank you, Car. That was quite nice of them. Remove any mods that you have, please. I don't want to be trying to help. I don't want to be trying to troubleshoot your options, or you guys going to be saying, Prime, it's not working. Something's broken. I can't access ATS. Well, if you don't remove the mods, especially if you use a lot of ones that are either not updated very frequently or very game-changing, quote-unquote, definitely pull them out of your profile. You can still leave them downloaded, but just pull them out of the profile, save it, and then save again when you load in for the first time as a new kind of save option. Basically create a separate little save, but in your game. You guys know what I'm talking about. Just be safe with it, okay? If you're going to opt into any open beta, I mean, that's just kind of a same practice for all of it. As I said, there's no instabilities with this, but honestly, if you really want to try out these new trailers and kind of explore some of if you have the Wyoming DLC, I don't see why there wouldn't be a reason why you wouldn't want to opt in, unless if you like using a lot of your mods right now and you don't want to give those up. I mean, that's honestly up to you. But for me, it was kind of a no-brainer, obviously because of the showcases here that I do on the channel, but also I always like to kind of explore and try the new things that come into the game. So I'm always willing to give up a little bit of a mod showcase to be able to check out some of the new base game content, because there are quite a few of you that don't like using mods, rightfully so. And as for me, I only really like using free mods, so they're compared to some who like the paid mods. So it's going to depend on your situation, but I would highly recommend it. It is, as I mentioned multiple times now, running stable for me. I haven't seen any issues. Hopefully you guys won't see any issues in the video. SCS Software is normally very, very good at releasing quality content, even in the open beta, something that at least isn't going to crash people's systems. It will depend on the age of your computer. Some older equipment may struggle more for whatever reason. I haven't seen anything. I mean, I don't have the top of the line system ever, but processor and the core fundamentals, other than the GPU, unfortunately, the core fundamentals of my PC are quite strong. So it's up to you guys, really, if you want to opt in or not. It's as all the other betas go. You go into this under Steam in the ATS game itself. You go to Properties. You go to the Betas tab, and in the little drop-down menu, it should be like the third or fourth option down. You should see Public Beta 1.45. Click on that. It will automatically, and just exit out of the beta's windows. Exit out, and your game should automatically start to update. Once it's updated, you can join the game, and it will look a little different slightly, just because the news functions and certain things, as in most betas, just aren't properly running, just for safety reasons. It's kind of like the safe mode of American Truck Simulator and ETS2, but for any of you who've been around doing betas for a while, you know it will look exactly the same to all the other ones. You do that, and then you start looking around, go into the trailer options. They will not be named kind of properly. At least right now, I noticed that there's like an underscore in the name. That's how it was really easily to tell what the 2 new trailers were. They had, I think it was like G something underscore, the kind of a abbreviation of the name. You'll find them used. They have an image loaded in anyways, but go with that if you choose to. If not, just enjoy the content here. I'll be able to give you guys a ton of updates on that. Now let's move away from what is the 1.45 open beta, because you're going to be seeing a lot more of that. And if we do get new things that get added throughout the beta period, obviously I'll be on top of that. Let's kind of do a recap now of the past blog posts that we've had. One of which, I guess the more recent one, was the Texas intermodal, I think it was intermodal connections or intermodal. I just lost the name. Terminals. There it is. Basically meaning it is the connection point for multiple different transport types. Long story short, the trains and trucks and even by sea as well and ports, just giant transportation hubs in general, and cargo yards are good terms to describe what these intermodal terminals are. Essentially, Texas is going to have multiple of them, multiple different options, especially in the relation between truck and train. Those are going to be, that's a very strong relationship, I mean, basically across North America, because it's very, very much common. But definitely in Texas, there are going to be a lot of these at various yards, so keep an eye out for that. And then we've also had, I guess, Missoula, that's how I'm going to say it, and I believe that's how you pronounce it, in Montana. That was a Montana DLC blog post, but it's in general just really nice to have some of these various blog posts coming, and it's good to know, obviously, now that we kind of have an idea that Montana is definitely the next one, and unless if they're just teasing us that they're as in SES Software, unless if they are just teasing us, that's what I actually wanted to say, not there. If SES Software is teasing us with a little bit of a tag and stuff in the game for Montana, then that's just good joke, SES Software. Ha ha ha. But no, it's I mean, Montana is now very, very close to release, something I am very happy about. And I mean, any blog post now that we get on Montana is probably going to be more. It's definitely late stages, but it's going to be. I could imagine the gameplay videos now coming very, very soon, which then would entail that the DLC will release quite soon as well. That said, we don't actually know how long 1.45 will be in open beta, because, as I've already mentioned multiple times, and from what you guys know, man, that was a little close there, AI. Gee whiz. that van got a little ambitious there, closing up to the back of the truck. Gee whiz. We don't actually know how long it's going to be in beta, because it came out earlier than normal. So normally betas last anywhere from a couple weeks upwards to a month or just over. We've had this slightly earlier, so it really just depends on the timeline of some of the additions and various things on when are we actually going to get the content to the game, as a full release, that is. But if you're going to be opted into the beta, then it's really not going to feel a whole lot different, other than some things may feel more polished if you do notice a bit of an issue that then gets corrected in an update. Maybe the only thing that you would notice day to day is that the updates that do happen to the game are definitely more frequent when you're in beta versus not. SES Software will roll out, they're already finished or already about to roll out an update to something that has been seen and noted by people, but they already have a correction to it. So there's that little bit of a lag time in if you do see something new versus what they'll get it. They do prioritize the major things, obviously, but they're always fine-tuning and optimizing certain things. So you will notice sometimes that there'll be more downloads than not. So if you do have slower internet or limited internet when it comes to amounts and data, be mindful of opting into betas in general. Doesn't really matter what game, to be honest, but you choose what you wish. It's really not that much generally when the game does update, but you know, to each their own. Once again, it's just a matter of personal opinion if you want to join it or not. Other than that, I mean, it's just great to be back here on ATS. I mean, I always enjoy doing stuff here on ATS, and regrettably it hasn't been as often as I would like to, and hopefully that can change. There's just various things that are happening right now for me, and can't quite always get the time that I'd like to be able to do these videos. Obviously, the Prime News are easy to roll out, but these longer ones are slightly different. Convoys have been completely neglected on my side. I do apologize for that. I really want to do another community convoy. That's what I'm trying to say. Another community convoy with you guys, but it's the matter of time for me, and I'll have to figure that one out definitely. But I really want to do one, and I keep saying that, and whether it actually happens or not. But thank you to everyone who is part of the Discord server, and being very patient in the multiplayer section for me. I do apologize. There's only so much I have control over, but regrettably, it's not as often as I would like. But I am happy to see the interaction within the Prime Simulation Discord server, and of course around the community. You guys are absolutely amazing. We are now so incredibly close to, well, at least as of recording this video, 1,800 subscribers, and now within an arm's reach of 2,000, which is incredible for me to even say, considering where we were earlier this year was just hitting 1,000. Like, this is kind of an incredible moment for me, to be honest. And you guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you for all the continued support. It means a ton, and there is some really cool stuff coming to the channel very, very soon. I'll try not to. I'll do my best not to spoil my own plans, but I've got some stuff in the pipeline that are going to be really, really neat. Some returns of past series, some new things, kind of a new path, I guess you could call it. Something I am very excited to announce. Well, hopefully sooner rather than later. Now, we must be getting close to our delivery here, and I'm going to go to the map here. Yeah, we are. We're getting close to Cheyenne here, which is absolutely amazing. Now, I did learn my lesson. How to pronounce. I called it Cheney initially, but it's Cheyenne. When Wyoming DLC was coming out, I definitely got a tune-up from the community on how to say it. So Cheyenne it is. And yeah, it is. I wanted to go over to Cody and go through that way, but you know what? You can only do so much. And if there's no cargo, I'm not going to just do an empty delivery. I could, I guess, to be honest, not like it really matters when it comes to pay and stuff in this series, but the trailer would feel really, really light, and it just wouldn't be realistic to drive that kind of distance without a load, unless if you're going to pick up some honking big load of to go across basically the states. But I mean, I understand that those longer empty drive times will happen, but they're not as realistic, and they don't happen as often as normal. So or normally there's some form of little delivery that gets done, or there's like a chain of logistics, which is, I think, probably the next big feature that we'd love, or a bigger gameplay feature that we'd love to see in ATS. At least I would, having kind of more a contract with a particular company, and you're doing you're instead of just doing multiple separate jobs, basically you get one big lump sum and you have to do various deliveries by a certain deadline, and you pick up, for example, something at one place, you drop it off to another place, but you pick up something else, bring it either back or to another place, and keep hopping around even within a select area. That is maybe the most realistic logistics type in the world, especially here in North America, whether it's box goods to flatbed deliveries and stuff like that. Often it's not just from point A to point B with no strings attached. I mean, I know that does happen, but generally speaking, there is some form of logistics chain, multiple drop-offs doing this and that. It's something that I'd love to see come to ATS. I think a lot of us would love to see it, and I'm sure it will someday. I'm sure it will, but we just gotta hope. We just gotta hope that it will come sooner than later. It's honestly maybe one of the bigger features I'd love to see be prioritized, but I'm sure SCA Software are bringing some other great things that will really make me even more happy. But it looks like we're closing in on the delivery point, which is great. I have to say it is quite lovely not to see those floating X's, as much as those floating X's were handy, and not to turn down the wrong way, and I definitely had my moments where I needed them. It is great to say that they can now be gone, and you can just enjoy the scenery of ATS without them, and it makes it more immersive as well. You don't have, in real life, there's, unless if you have, I think the new Mercedes EQS or whatever it is, has like the really heads-up display was like, even, I think it will sometimes do like an X, like don't turn here, and then like the arrows pointing to where it goes. Unless if you got lucky enough to have one of those. Floating X's in front of you over roads are normally not a popular thing. They're very complicated, and I don't think holographic things like that exist in the real world yet. So it's nice to have them gone. It makes it more realistic, and I can't say enough how much I appreciate to have that little tick box to have them disabled. I'm sure it wasn't the easiest thing to actually bring in. That's probably why things had to be probably reworked a little bit in the code to be able to disable them. I don't know, but hey, I'll take it when I get it. Go across the railroad track here and pull into our delivery point, which is I think another rail export here, which is quite neat. Yeah, it is. From one rail export to another, which is kind of the point of even the intermodal transportation hubs that it kind of was spotlighted in Texas. You've got times where you need trucks or boats or even trains to haul goods between one connection type and another. It's just the way it works. You can't always have just one method move things around. You gotta do a little bit of both. But luckily with this, we can just pull straight on through and go from there. Thank you, train. I really needed that horn blast there going in the background. I missed my spot because of it. Oh, reversing B doubles are always so lovely. I actually did it a little bit at the beginning of the episode, but let's go ahead and turn. Oh, I guess you guys didn't see it, but it was off camera. It was really quite impressive trying to get it lined up in spot. But thank y'all so much for watching. 1.45 open beta is incredible. Love these new trailers. Love the things that you can bring in. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't. How many times can I say honest or honestly? The removing of the X's where you can't go may be the greatest feature of this update, as harsh it is to say compared to the trailers. That is something I didn't think was going to be so significant, but is incredible to see in the game itself. So I'm quite happy about that, just saying. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching. There's going to be multiple episodes here on 1.45 open beta. Tons of different experiments with the trailers. Lots of different things when it comes to delivery types in various areas. And just having a good time on the beta while it can before the actual release comes, where I'm sure we'll be quite busy with Montana. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.